All right, let's talk about Taylor Swift. Today, we're diving deep into a really fascinating theory, one that suggests her entire career, every relationship, her whole public image might not be what it seems at all. The idea is that it could be one of the most brilliant, calculated performances of our time. So, let's get into it. So, let's just get right to the heart of it. The main question this whole theory asks: is Taylor Swift, America's sweetheart, actually the world's biggest player? Is she secretly orchestrating this grand narrative where every single high-profile romance is just fuel for her next hit album, always leaving her as the sympathetic victim? The core argument here is that nothing is an accident. From her very first teenage heartbreaks all the way up to her current thing with Travis Kelce, every single move could be part of a carefully crafted strategy. This theory basically reframes her life story, not as a series of unlucky events, but as an absolute masterclass in public relations. To really get this, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning. The story we all know is about this simple girl from a Christmas tree farm who just had a big dream. But the theory we're looking at today suggests that this origin story, well, it might have been the very first move in a very long and very calculated game. You see, the public image was crafted so carefully, a relatable, kind of Snow White in the countryside vibe. But the reality? It was a little different. Her dad, Scott Swift, was a senior vice president at Merrill Lynch, one of the biggest investment firms in the country. The family was very well off, owning not just the farm, but a huge summer mansion by the sea. And make no mistake, this wasn't just some kid's hobby. According to the theory, this was a full-on strategic plan. By the time she was 9, she was already getting professional vocal training in New York City. At 11, the whole family picks up and moves to Nashville, the capital of country music. Her dad even gets his job transferred to the Nashville branch to make it all happen. This wasn't luck. It was a well-funded, meticulously planned family mission. And here's where it gets really interesting. When a young Taylor was struggling to get a record deal, her dad didn't just give her a pep talk. He reportedly invested $300,000 to buy a 3% stake in a brand new label called Big Machine Records. And guess what? Shortly after, that same label signed his daughter. It was basically a business move to guarantee she got her shot.
So, with her career officially launched, a repeatable pattern allegedly starts to emerge, a kind of playbook for turning romantic heartbreak into commercial gold and a whole lot of public sympathy. Let's break down how it supposedly worked.
The first big example, the one that really set the blueprint, was back in 2008 with Joe Jonas. They were this teen celebrity power couple, but the whole thing only lasted about 3 months. According to this theory, it wasn't the relationship that mattered. It was all about how it ended. See, instead of keeping things private, Taylor goes on a huge talk show and shares this incredibly specific and, let's be honest, humiliating detail with the entire world. In an instant, the story was set in stone. She was the sweet girl who got brutally dumped, and he was the heartless villain. And boom, there it is. The playbook in action. She immediately funnels that story into the hit song Forever and Always. Public opinion totally turns on Jonas, his reputation takes a serious hit, and Taylor walks away with a #1 song and a massive wave of public support. The playbook was officially born. Next up, musician John Mayer in 2009. She was 19, he was 32. And once again, the relationship was super brief, just a few months. And, like clockwork, when it ended, a song followed. This time, it was the brutally direct Dear John. Only this time, the target actually fought back. John Mayer went on the record saying the song just completely humiliated him. He claimed he was blindsided and that she totally blew up their brief relationship just to sell albums. But, it was too late. His reputation was pretty much cemented as the older guy who wronged her, and her album, Speak Now, became another monster success. But the most iconic example, the one that maybe perfected the playbook, that has to be with actor Jake Gyllenhaal in late 2010. Again, the relationship itself, it lasted only about 3 months. But the fallout would last for over a decade. The story she wove into her song All Too Well was just packed with these vivid, movie-like details: a lost scarf, a missed birthday party. These little things turned a short fling into this epic tragedy in the minds of her fans. And then, in 2021, she re-releases a 10-minute version of the song, dragging Gyllenhaal right back into the spotlight and proving that in her world, a story is never really over. And the pattern just kept going, speeding up through a whole string of famous guys.
You had Connor Kennedy from the Political Dynasty, a very, very public romance with Harry Styles that seemed perfect for the cameras, a really messy public breakup with the DJ Calvin Harris, and that wild 3-month thing with actor Tom Hiddleston, with that infamous I Heart TS t-shirt, a move a lot of people called a total publicity stunt.
For years, this playbook just worked perfectly. Taylor was always the victim, always the relatable girl next door. But then came 2016, and the whole game changed. The narrative she had controlled so perfectly was about to get completely hijacked. And it all comes back to Kanye West. You remember the 2009 VMA incident where he jumped on stage. That moment is what first cemented her status as America's sweetheart victim. But fast forward to 2016. Kanye drops his song Famous with a really explicit lyric about her. Taylor's team immediately denies she ever approved it. But then, Kim Kardashian leaks pieces of a phone call where it sounds like Taylor is giving him her blessing. The backlash was just immediate and absolutely brutal. The internet exploded, and a single emoji, the snake, became the new symbol for Taylor Swift. Overnight, her public image just flipped from the victim to a calculated, deceptive manipulator. It was the biggest crisis of her entire career.
So what does she do? She disappears. For a whole year, she went completely silent. And when she finally came back, she did something absolutely genius. She took the very insult that was meant to destroy her, the snake, and she made it the entire brand for her comeback album, Reputation. She didn't just survive the scandal, she monetized it, turning her biggest weakness into her greatest symbol of power.
Which brings us to today, and what this theory says is her potential end game. After years of dating musicians and actors, she's now with a whole new kind of American celebrity, NFL superstar Travis Kelce. This relationship has been a cultural and financial earthquake. People are calling it the Taylor Swift effect. NFL viewership, especially with young women, has just skyrocketed. Travis Kelce's jersey sales reportedly jumped 400%. I mean, think about it. She gets access to the huge loyal audience of American football. He becomes a global superstar overnight, and the NFL gets millions of new fans. It's a perfect, symbiotic power alliance. And this is where the theory gets really wild. It goes so far as to predict a specific future date for their engagement announcement, August 26th, 2025. Now, whether that's true or not, it just highlights the core idea that this relationship is the grand finale of a long campaign to create America's new royal couple, perfectly timed and flawlessly executed. And that brings us to the biggest point of this whole theory. What if this was never just about love, or even about album sales? What if the ultimate goal is to unite two of the most powerful and passionate fan bases in America, the Swifties and the sports world? If you merge those two, you create a cultural force with an influence that is just unprecedented. So, in the end, we're left with one big question. Is Taylor Swift the main character in an epic love story, finally getting her happy ending? Or is she the mastermind of an epic power play, executing her most brilliant move yet? The theory has laid out its case. Now it's up to you to decide.